in Leesport. Checking KUR sports, KU Golden Bears football team has 2 more games this season, and both of them are going to be away games, so both of them are going to be live here on KUR next game this Saturday. And Monsoon Mike says you better bundle up for that game because after the nice, mild midweek weather, it's going to turn cold again, much like last weekend. For late-breaking news, weather, sports, and traffic, sometimes before we can even get it live on the air, make sure you like our award-winning Kutztown University Radio Facebook page or on Twitter at @KU Radio. From KUR News, I'm Mike Regensberger.
I'm Steve Majiri, host of KU Live. Tune in every Tuesdays at 2 p.m. for all things Kutztown University. We will discuss everything ranging from school news, sports, and upcoming events, along with frequent appearances from student government to discuss new policies. We will also have members of ACE, the Association of Campus Events, to come in weekly to discuss what new activities are coming to the university. Tune in to 1670 AM or listen to us online at www.kutztown.edu/KUR or on your smartphone by downloading the TuneIn app. You can also listen to us via any phone by calling 610-465-7860. KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University. KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University. KUR Kutztown. Hey everyone, welcome back to KU Live. The time right now is about 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Steve Majiri. We have a very rock-solid show for you today. We'll be having correspondence from the student government walk towards the booths for Election Day. We also have head men's basketball coach Bernie Driscoll here to talk in to give a preview on the season. But we're going to start out now with our first guest. We have representative from the Brandywine Heights School District, Mr. Mike Wagman, who's the assistant producer of an organization called the Brandywine Minstrels. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having us.
We appreciate you coming on. Now, just for those who don't know, you work for the Brandywine Heights School District. What is Brandywine Minstrels?
The Brandywine Minstrels is an organization that was formed in 1980 to raise money to put lights on the soccer field at the high school facility. That project was completed, and we've continued our show for the past 34 years. This is our 34th year, and the money we've raised over $500,000, and the funds we raised goes to support the students of Brandywine Heights, such as sending them on trips, band trips or sports trips, things like that.
Right. So I guess this correlates with a loss in funding over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a way to make up some of the cuts that have been had. And
$1 billion.
Yeah, you got it.
That's great, yeah, and that's something that we have to do. That's one of the only ways to, at this time, is to really help donate to your school district. Your taxpayer money only goes so far. So what ways do you usually raise money and solicit funds for your school needs and other athletic facilities?
The only thing that we do is put on a show once a year. So we put on a show every November, the first week in November, and we have a cast of about 150 people made up of on-stage cast as well as support cast, and we put on a minstrel-type show. It's not really a musical, it's not really a play, but somewhere in between of a variety show and a musical, and that is what we do to raise money for the students at Brandywine. Like I said, we raised over the past 34 years a little over $500,000.
Hey, that sounds like a great cause, and that's something that I think that, just like you mentioned, you're raising money for the soccer field. I think having lights is something you really need because a lot of games take place at night. So, what struggles have you had talking to the school district? How come they haven't been able to really allocate any funds towards this?
It was just one of those things. Like I said, this happened in 1980 is the reason we formed that, and it was just strapped for cash at the time. They had put the soccer field facility up and bleachers, and there was no room left over for lights, and so we started, a group of people got together and said, let's put on a show and raise money, or our kids and grandchildren are playing sports, and we need a way to raise money so they can have games at night, and like I said, we just morph from there.
That sounds great, and I know people from the Brandywine High School District. It's very small, and that can be often very hard to get any donations. What challenges do you face trying to solicit donations from people?
The one challenge we have is always looking for new talent and people to donate their time for the show. It's a huge commitment. We start rehearsals at the end of August, and our shows are the first weekend of November. So you're making a solid 2-month commitment to at least 2 rehearsals a week for those 2 months. So people with families and work schedules, it can be hectic. So that's the biggest problem I'd say we have. And the second would be ad sales. We sell ads for our program, and to get community support, we sell half-page, quarter-page, and full-page ads. So as business gets strapped for cash, it gets harder to get that money out of them for those type of things.
I'm sure. And do the people that live in that small area around Topton and Lyons of Brandywine, do they usually help? Are they one of your best vendors as far as giving you funds?
Yeah, we have probably about 3,000 people that attend our show each year.
That's
so
great.
Those are the people that really support us the most. And like I said, the 150 cast members that are made up of people from Topton, Fleetwood, Lyons, Kutztown. We even have some cast members that travel all the way from Bethlehem that have children and grandchildren in the school district. So
that's great. And you said Kutztown. So do you ever have any students come to this? Because I know we have a defunct theater department, but we do have students that still enjoy acting.
We actually do have a handful of Kutztown students in our production this year that are in our chorus, and so it is a great thing to allow them to showcase their talent in other ways.
For a good cause.
Yep.
That sounds great. Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell our viewers in case they're interested in attending?
Yeah, I just
Our listeners.
like to say you look us up on Facebook, which is the Brandywine Minstrel, and the show dates are Thursday, November 6th, Friday the 7th, Saturday the 8th, Sunday the 9th. The 6th, 7th, and 8th, the shows are at 7:30, and on the 8th and the 9th, we also have a 2 o'clock show. Tickets are $14 at the door, and on Thursday we have a premiere night charge, and that's $10, so a special price for our premiere night. So come out. There's plenty of tickets at the door, and it's a great time and supports a good cause.
It sounds like a great cause, and that's something that we could really do is help these smaller school districts. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming on the show. That was Mike Wagman of the Brandywine Minstrels. He's the assistant producer of the show of the Brandywine Heights School District. We really appreciate him coming on the show, and stay tuned for more KU Live.
It's Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us.
Did you know thunderstorms eject beautiful light displays? Hi, I'm Megan Stavanis, and I'm here to tell you about these light displays. Once believed to be UFOs due to their color, shape, and height in the sky, red sprites are electrical phenomena in the upper atmosphere. First discovered by a professor at University of Minnesota using low-light television cameras, we are now able to see these bright light shows that only last a millisecond or two. Red sprites are huge. They may span up to 30 miles, but they are pretty weak. They appear as faint red glow in the sky. They sort of look like red dust. Red sprites occur after thunderstorms. They are the remains of all that built up electricity from the lightning. They are fairly impossible to spot with the naked eye, but if you have the exact setting, you can. You need a clear view with a thunderstorm on the horizon, it to be pitch black, and have night-adjusted eyes. They are very hard to spot, so look hard and no hard feelings if you don't spot one right away. But you could also see a blue jet. Blue jets are another electrical wonder that occur after thunderstorms. These are optical ejections from the core of the thundercloud. They spiral upward in a cone shape, creating the blue jet. They span just as much as a red sprite and do not last any longer. They are equally hard to spot, but if you look hard enough, you just may find one. There are some other things you may see as well. Pixies, gnomes, and elves are just some others. Scientists chose the names such as sprites, jets, elves because they are symbols. We know little about these mythical creatures and little about these optical phenomena. Red sprites and blue jets are very rare, so if you see one, please be sure to report it to www.skyfire.tv.
Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us. Stay tuned to KUR for more telescopic topics, and for more information, or to hear this segment again, click on the Telescopic Topics icon on the KUR website at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. Telescopic Topics is a production of the KU Physical Sciences Department and is recorded by KU astronomy students in the studios of KUR. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online. For like a year, she couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University. KUR Kutztown. Hey everyone, welcome back to KU Live. The time right now is about 2:11 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Steve Majiri, and the main theme of our show is Election Day, and we have the student government is starting a march down to the Maxatony Township building where the polls are being held in order to, deliver a message that basically that they believe it's voter suppression because they're basically distancing and making it harder for students like us who may not have transportation to get down to the voting polls and vote. So we have our very own correspondent, Mr. Kevin Stratton, is reporting live as our KU Live correspondent down from walking towards Maxatony Township building. Are you there?
Yep. Hey, how you doing?
Good. All right. So just what's the atmosphere like down there? How many people do you have with you?
Well, we're actually in front of the Keystone building still, waiting for a couple more people. People are still walking up. We have shuttles running all day through the municipal building, but the march, we're just about to depart now. Maybe a couple more minutes. We got about 20, 30 people gathered here right now.
That's great. And do you have, I believe that KUTV, the electronic media department, will be covering this as well?
Yes, they are here as well.
Good. They have cameras? Okay, that's great. And what do you plan on doing? Do you just plan on walking? Will you be carrying signs? What's, paint the picture for me. I wish I was there.
There's going to be some escorts from faculty and other members of the community. And, we're just making the statement, spreading the word. We're going to be walking all the way to the municipal building, 22.
That's great. And so what faculty members are with you? I'd like to know who's representing our school right now.
You know what? I'm not sure names, but I'll mingle a little more, but I'll check in with you later and let you know. Yeah,
for sure. That's really good to know because if we know the faculty are behind this, that only, makes us look better if we have the adults with us as well. And so tell me, what's President Sciborria doing right now as he's there? What's been his role?
Man of the hour, so he's on the interviews. KUTV's having a chat with him right now. He's got some other people from, I think it's The Guardian, interviewing. So he's a busy guy.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I'm sure that Joe's going to be very busy today. I'm sure we're going to have to speak with him again. Okay, anything else you'd like to report now? Or is right now it's just we have to wait for things to get move in progress?
No, we're right about to get on the move, so next time you hear from me, we'll be walking.
Okay, we will contact you in around 20, 25 minutes. Thank you very much, Kevin. All right, that was our correspondent, Kevin Stratton, from going on the march towards the Maxatony Township building. It's our recreation of March on Washington against voter suppression, and we will speak with him again in about 20 minutes. Stay tuned. We have head men's basketball coach Bernie Driscoll in for an interview. Stay tuned.
Did you know that 80% of KU students don't binge drink?
Hanging posters again? Do you think that poster is really true?
Yes, it is true. I am a KU health ambassador and familiar with the audit. KU students participate in alcohol screening each year. We use the alcohol use disorder identification test. It is a simple way to screen and identify people who are at risk of developing alcohol problems. We have learned that the majority of students are taking care of business and focusing on academics.
You know, most of my friends don't drink, so I guess what this poster is saying is true.
Would you like to get a group of friends together for a bite to eat?
Sounds great. Text me later.
Kutztown Living, neighbor to neighbor.
Funded by the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird, too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F. Face drooping. A. Arm weakness. Or S. Speech difficulty. Then T. Time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Looking for exceptional research and fieldwork opportunities? The Chincoteague Bay Field Station is an environmental education facility located on the eastern shore of Virginia. We offer a variety of college courses each summer ranging from geology and biology to literature and marine science. For years, Kutztown University students have come to the field station to participate in cutting-edge research and gain practical experiences that help them secure a job in their field. Find out how you can get involved today at cbfieldstation.org. That's cbfieldstation.org.
Who doesn't like to hear positive and uplifting stories today in the midst of all the bad news that's out there? The People Chronicles is a website that shares inspiring stories from Berks County and beyond. It's a community storytelling project giving voice to those who normally don't have one. You can find a story that speaks to you or share a story of your own. Check out the People Chronicles at thepeoplechronicles.com today.
And you can hear the positive and uplifting stories of the People Chronicles every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. here on KUR.
1-800-222-1222. 1-800-222-1222. If you think it might be poison, then the first thing you should do is call 1-800-222-1222. Poison can be anything you're not supposed to take. Antifreeze, pesticide, the wrong drug by mistake. If you breathe a nasty chemical, been bitten by a snake, call the Poison Control Center hotline. We're here for you night or day.
For a poison or drug emergency at home or at work, just call the Poison Control Center hotline. We're here 24/7 with the expert help you need. Free and confidential. Even if you think it's a false alarm, call
1-800-222-1222. 1-800-222-1222. If you think it might be poison and you don't know what to do, call 1-800-222-1222.
A message from your Poison Control Center.
KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University, and Golden Bears football is your winning combination this fall. KUR is now your official radio source for all KU football broadcasts on the road. I'm Matt Santos. Join me live from the booth in my 23rd season of Covering the Team as my special guests and I bring you each and every exciting play from the 2014 road slate. We'll be at Slippery Rock, Gannon, Millersville, East Stroudsburg, Shippensburg, and Clarion, wherever the Golden Bears go. All broadcasts will begin 10 minutes before kickoff. That's KU football on the road, all this season on KUR, your exclusive radio home for Kutztown University Golden Bears football.
KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR Kutztown. Hey everyone, welcome back to KU Live. The time right now is about 2:18 p.m. Eastern Time, and we just spoke with our correspondent, Mr. Kevin Stratton, who's just leaving outside the Keystone building to go on the march towards Maxitoni Township building to promote the message that they believe that voters are being suppressed by this municipality to keep them from voting. And that's a great message, and we're going to speak with them in a little bit. But first, it's about that time of season again. It's getting real cold, and winter sports are just about underway. And the KU men's basketball team is about to just start off their season, I believe, November 8th. And now coming on the show today, one of our favorite guests. We love him here at KU Live, head coach Bernie Driscoll. Coach, welcome back. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me again, Steve.
Appreciate you coming on. Okay, now we'll just start. You had, coming off of last year, you had a very young team last year. I believe 9 freshmen, 2 transfers, and only 1 senior. And then the senior, Tyler Brooks, ended up getting hurt at third way through the year. How hard was it to coach such an inexperienced team?
Well, it was really hard. I think once Tyler got hurt, we kind of had to regroup, and we lost our identity a little bit with Tyler being our only senior and really best player returning. And so it took about 5 or 6 games for us to get our roles back to where we need to be. And then once January started, the kids started playing great, and we made the playoffs, and it was a very successful year.
Yeah, it's a 5-win improvement from last year. And how much bigger of a step do you want to take this year?
Well, as our goal always is when we start at the beginning of the year is to win the PSAC East. And, with the young group we had last year, I think the foundation is set, and we've added some very, very key transfers this year, and we'll see how it goes.
Right, and speaking of transfers, there are two of them. You have Howard Seller, who's a Division I transfer from St. Peter's, and you also have a guy from California University of Pennsylvania, Tynell Fortin, who was their leading scorer last year. Those are two really rock-solid transfers. How excited are you to have them on your team this year?
Well, first of all, it gives us a ton of depth.
A lot of depth.
Howard, we recruited Howard out of high school, and he decided to go Division I with St. Pete's, and just didn't adjust real well there and decided to come back to Kutztown, and we're glad to have him. And Tynell was Cal PA's leading scorer last year, and things have happened at Cal that needed him to move to Kutztown, and we're very happy to have both young men in our backcourt.
Yeah, and you already have a very deep backcourt. Almost everyone's returning. And you went with actually, I believe, a two-headed point guard approach at points during the season with Bettleman and Fred Dukes. How do you plan on implementing your new guys along with your current backcourt?
Well, I think we're going to reduce some minutes. Last year we had to, and last year we had Tracy and a couple of those guys were playing 38 minutes a game, and really wearing down when we had a couple of those double weekends or those Wednesday, Friday games. So I think this year we're going to be able to reduce the minutes, allow, if we can get it 28 to 30 minutes per player, that'll really be helpful for us, and I think it'll help our fatigue at the end of games.
Right. I mean, what's the point of depth if you don't keep cycling fresh legs all the time?
Yep.
And one guy on there, really, I'm sure you're really excited about what he's going to do this year, is KU Freshman Athlete of the Year last year, Josh Johnson. He averaged around just under 14 points, about just under 7 rebounds a game, just had a phenomenal freshman year. How good do you think he can be moving forward?
I believe Josh has only scratched the surface of his ability as a basketball player. And he didn't play basketball till 9th or 10th grade in high school, and so he's on the learning curve is a little bit on the lax end. But he had a great freshman campaign last year. I think he's put on probably 10 or 15 pounds this summer. He stayed up in Kutztown all summer. Worked in town and painted and worked out in our student rec center, and he really, really looks good. I mean, he has an opportunity to be one of our best.
Yeah, he's not Bilal Salam just yet, but he's on his way.
He's not Bilal, but when it's really scary how closely their careers parallel each other. Bilal started late, really started to thrive at Kutztown, and just took off as a basketball player and as a student too. And Josh is just getting his feet underneath him and feel more comfortable, really weekly with Kutztown, and I expect great things from Josh.
Right, and he just is really. I've seen him. He just looks so fluent. He's just a freak of an athlete. He can handle the ball. Do you see him more as a traditional big, or do you think he can play as a hybrid forward this year?
I think you bring up a great point. We want him outside. We really want him attacking the glass, from the perimeter. I think he's not a back to the basket player, and we really negate a lot of his talent and his speed when he has to play back to the basket. But we have two other young men actually three, that are kind of going to push him out there, and he'll be out with Tyler out in the wing, and really attacking the glass and using his speed to his ability.
Well, he'll be probably one of the more bigger and versatile teams in the conference this year. And you bring up Tyler Brooks. He was injured almost all of last year, and luckily he was granted a medical redshirt and got to come back. Now that he's back, how valuable is his presence on the team?
He's valuable in a lot of ways that great players, you just don't realize it. He's a great anchor. When last year when things got a little crazy and you're playing East Stroudsburg and they're all over you for 40 minutes, you had a senior there to kind of settle you down and get people in the right spot. We just missed that all last year, and having him back, having him healthy, we're hoping to get through our campaign this year and do well and end his 5-year career here as one of the best basketball players at Kutztown's history.
Yes, by all means, yeah. Tyler's been a really valuable asset to the team for a while because he's just so versatile. He's a pass-first player, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I remember last year you were very excited about him becoming more of a scorer, and he didn't really get to dive into that because he got hurt. Even though with other guys stepping up offensively, do you still expect Tyler to anchor the offense?
I hope so. I think everything we have runs through Tyler. And you hit the nail on the head. He's a pass first player. He makes Tynell and Howard and Tracy better basketball players. He passes the ball. He's very unselfish. He's one of those guys that just does all the little things well, and we're very, very happy to have him with us this year.
Absolutely. And another guy that really is you're glad to have back. He was banged up a little last year, and he's been I've seen a few practices. He's been injured a little, is Ryan Connolly. And now, how's he looking? Is he getting? You don't think he'll be able to make the season opener?
Well, we got bad news on Ryan. I think he's done for the year.
Again.
The shoulder is, keeps popping out, and your heart just goes out to Ryan. And he's worked so hard. He's had 2 surgeries on the shoulder already. Hurt it again in practice about a week ago. We'll find out. Really, he goes in to get an MRI tomorrow, and I hope to God it's not torn again, but. I think with the pain that he has, that he suffered the injury again.
That's a big blow right there. It's one of your best perimeter threats.
Yep.
And that's another thing. During the season, there were some issues with the three-point line. Do you plan on improving as a perimeter team, or do you just want to keep to your style of running and getting a lot of 2s?
Well, we should be a lot better three-point shooting team than we showed last year. I'm not quite sure why we really didn't shoot as well, but we want to run. We want the three-pointer. That's our style of play. That's what we feel comfortable with. I believe Tynell is an outstanding three-point shooter, and Howard's a very good three-point shooter. Probably the most improved player from last year to this year is Martin Dietrich, and Martin is just lights out shooting right now. And you put Tyler in the mix, I think we have 4 or 5 players that can, shoot 35-40% from threes.
That's really going to help, and then it'll make teams be more honest with you. And another thing that we should bring up is that last year, something I'm sure I know you love a lot, is that you had 4 players earn PSAC Scholar Athlete honors and also made the Dean's List. How proud are you as a coach to see your players achieve success on the court and in the classroom?
Well, they're here as a student first. And
really? Yeah. That's why they're here. How about that?
At least that's what I tell the moms and stuff
right.
like that. But no, we've run the study halls, and a couple of our kids have really done wonderful things. And a lot of our young men are from urban school districts that don't have the finances that you find in some of the suburban school districts, and they come into Kutztown maybe lacking a little bit with the English foundation or a little bit with the math foundation, but they get up to snuff real quick. And I give a ton of credit to our kids and their abilities, but I also give a ton of credit with our faculty. I think some of our faculty really go beyond what's expected of them with extra help, and and they see in a couple of our young people exactly what we see in them. And I think with the combination of the two that we're very, very fortunate to have good kids, but at the same time we have some faculty that really done an outstanding job and make our job as coaches and mentors for some of these young men that they do graduate, and we're very fortunate.
Right, that's what matters in the end, is because these guys, they're not going to go pro. They're here for the education first. Basketball is just another activity. And that's great because you made a much bigger improvement from last year. You had a lot more guys make the list. And remember you mentioned last time you came on the show that a lot of guys were just missed it by the skin of their teeth. So that's great that, potentially they can make it this year. And also, you've got not as many freshmen as last year, not as much recruiting. That's probably really relaxing for you. You have only a couple freshmen in this year, but what do you really look for when in your recruits? Because I remember you mentioned you changed your recruiting outline.
Well, we kind of got away from what we did real well a couple years ago, and had a couple just bad situations. So, we go back to having young men that that want to play the game of basketball, want to go to class. May not be the star of their team, but might be that next level kid, that number 2 or number 3 guy, and try to develop them within a team concept to do well, and that they do go to class. And there are some real signs when you look at a transcript. So we've really said, what, a kid misses a lot of high school classes. There's probably a chance he's not going to go to a lot of class at college. So let's just not even waste our time with that group, and and start zeroing in on young people that want to be here, want to enjoy a Kutztown education, want to play KU basketball, and we've been very, very happy and very, very lucky with that.
Right. I mean, I don't care what people say. I don't think that I will never believe the argument that participating in athletics and doing well in school are mutually exclusive. There's something that you can easily balance it if you're willing to, make the necessary sacrifices. And
a lot of our kids, I don't mean to interrupt you, Steve.
Oh, please do.
Their only opportunity to go to college is basketball.
These kids on your team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have a couple young men that, if it wasn't for the ability to play basketball, would certainly not have been recruited by Kutztown or Westchester or Mansfield. And, there's no way with their family situation or their socioeconomic situation that, they're going to be able to go to community college. Many of the schools in Philadelphia don't even have college counselors.
Right, they don't.
They don't have college counselors. So we're asking these young people to do a process which is daunting to just any 18-year-older. Now you put that to a couple of these young people, and they have no guidance. Basketball's an avenue for them. I truly feel sorry for when I walk into a couple of high schools in Philly, and you're looking at these young people that just want an opportunity to play or want an opportunity to go to college, and they just they're not going to get that chance because they can't fill out a financial aid form, or they just not comfortable doing it. And we got to do a better job getting some of these young people up here, whether they're basketball players, whether they're great at theater, whether they're just great at mathematicians. The obstacles are so high against some of these young kids to be successful that we have to, as a society, start breaking some of those down.
I agree. You're preaching to my choir. I hear all the time that this school really does pride itself on on its diversity, which is a good thing. And a lot of times you'll see not just athletes but students as well that are from many diverse backgrounds and are given the opportunity here that many other schools wouldn't give them. And basketball, like you said, is just another great avenue. And you mentioned that what you just said that you go to a lot of Philadelphia school districts. That's a basketball factory. Is that where you usually like to get a lot of your recruits? I looked at your roster. You have a good number from there.
Good number from Philly. I love Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Factory. We have a great relationship with the coaches in Philadelphia, and we have a great relationship with the coaches and high school coaches in Coatesville. And, it's a comfort level when these high school coaches see a player that they know can play for you, know that they're going to be able to do what you ask them to do, both on the court and in the classroom, that they pick up the phone and call us, and they're right on. They're right on with their talent, and so we're very, very fortunate to have some really good feeder schools for us.
That's great, and I know that I've noticed yourself. You've also taken it on yourself to make sure that these kids mold themselves into more mature people, because where they came from, that may have been how they were raised, yet when you come here, it's a whole different way of living. And I've seen in practice, you've, told them, no smack talking your teammates and stuff, and that's really important. What's the biggest teaching point you want to give these young men besides, from the basketball standpoint?
There's a time and place. If our young people understand that there's a time and place, there's a time and place that you can act a certain way. There's a time and place on a basketball court that you're expected to act. When you go into class, you're expected to act a certain way. And right. I think once we get my point across that you can do all three, and you can do all three well, that you don't really need to act be a certain way in a classroom situation. You need to be in there. You need to be professional. You need to be respectful of the faculty member. You need to be respectful of the people in that classroom that are trying to learn just as much as you. And as long, and when you're in town on a Saturday night and with your friends, you can act a certain way that way. And I really believe that we really stress that know where you are, know your time and place, understand who you're speaking with, and be respectful at all times. And sometimes we're a lot better off than we are, at the end of the day. And I do see, we just had a young man go in the Hall of Fame on Saturday, Dave Ben.
Yep, we'll talk about him in a second.
Dave is, what a great success story from that. But, that's kind of what a lot of athletics will do.
Yeah, by all means, athletics are a big part of the educational system, I believe. And like you said, Dave Penn, we're going to talk about him. He was recently inducted into the KU Hall of Fame, and he's from Coatesville, a factory. I'll just say, how proud are you as a coach to see another one of your alums be inducted into that Hall of Fame? It gets such an honor.
It's really kind of as a justification point that all that hard work and David's journey was not an easy one. David's journey was through high school and through Kutztown, many obstacles placed in front of Dave, and often there are many times I know he just wanted to just kind of pack it up and go home and not work, not put the effort into what needs to be done, but he persevered. And all of a sudden, that junior year, everything came together. His academics came together. He felt comfortable in the classroom. Basketball-wise, he felt comfortable on the floor. And 2,000 points later, All-American on 3 ballots. Graduate of KU. It's just he's very appreciative of Kutztown, and he had a great mom, and it was a great day. It was truly a great day.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and that's great to show that someone who's had such a rougher upbringing, and then basketball helped him mold himself into a better person today, because now it says that he's married and he's got a full-time job, and that's got to just make you real happy as a coach.
Yep, absolutely. He's done well.
It is, and another guy we should bring up back to the basketball. The season's coming up. You mentioned Tracy Peel earlier on in the interview and how he was playing a lot of minutes, and he really thrived in those minutes. He stepped up and took the reins offensively, was named to the second-team All-PSAC team, averaged just under 17 points a game, really was a ferocious rebounder. Did you pull him aside and say you wanted him to be more aggressive, or did he take it upon himself to score more?
I think you were in our office. That's exactly what we did. When Tyler goes down, we really needed a leader, and Tracy's a very quiet young man.
He seems like
he's very, very quiet, and we were kind of asking him to step out of his little comfort zone with some of the young people and be a leader out on the court. And he really did a nice job. And he just worked real hard and changed his game to what needed to be done. And thank God a lot of the other PSAC coaches saw that he was second team All-League and really was very valuable to our team.
Right, and he's still got 2 years left. You got to be very excited about that.
Very excited.
And and then this year it starts very soon in about 4 days. And what aspect of the game do you want to make the biggest improvement on this season?
I'd like to do really one of two things. As a coaching staff, I would like us to get a little bit develop a quicker comfort level with our substitution patterns and roles within our players. And as a team, I believe if we can defend and rebound well, we're going to be very, very good this year.
We're very excited for that. All right, and we'll just end on this. You were slotted 5th in the PSAC preseason poll. What would it take to compete with the heavyweights of the conference and get back to the playoffs and further?
Well, preseason polls are exactly what they are. They're preseason polls. And last year, I think we were slotted last. So, I don't put a lot of faith in those. What we need to do is we need to come and be a more consistent team. We got to develop our chemistry as a team a little earlier and stronger, and just have faith that what we're doing is going to be the right thing for us to win the PSAC East.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm sure a bunch of other students here. Okay, well, thank you very much, Coach Driscoll. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Get out and vote today.
By all means, go vote. And that was Coach Bernie Driscoll of the men's basketball team. Their season starts November 8th. For some reason, forgive me, Coach, I don't know who he is, but it's on KUBears.com. Stay tuned for more KU Live.
Thanks, buddy.
Hi, hon. I thought you were coming home early.
Yeah.
What's the matter? What happened?
And I realized today just how much I really love you.
What do you mean?
I almost got killed today.
Oh, my God.
I was rushing home to catch the game. There was a train coming. I thought I could beat it.
Oh, Billy.
I was just about to go around the gate. Something made me slam on the brakes.
Oh, thank God.
Coffee went everywhere.
I'm so glad you're all right.
Wasn't worth the risk. Never see you again. Never smell your hair.
I don't even say that.
Never see you walk.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
It takes a mile for a train to stop. Don't try to beat a train, or someone you love will get hurt. Look, listen, and live. This message brought to you by Operation Lifesaver and this station.
KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University and Golden Bears football, is your winning combination this fall. KUR is now your official radio source for all KU football broadcasts on the road. I'm Matt Santos. Join me live from the booth in my 23rd season of Covering the Team as my special guests and I bring you each and every exciting play from the 2014 road slate. We'll be at Slippery Rock, Gannon, Millersville, East Stroudsburg, Shippensburg, and Clarion, wherever the Golden Bears go. All broadcasts will begin 10 minutes before kickoff. That's KU football on the road, all this season on KUR, your exclusive radio home for Kutztown University Golden Bears football.
On the next episode of Recipes for Disaster.
So we've got our neighbor Paul coming over tonight for a barbecue, which is why I prepared a delicious lemon rosemary steak marinade from my special collection of old family recipes. To make sure the steaks are extra, extra, extra tender, I left them marinating out on the counter overnight, just like Nana used to.
Maria may mean well, but without food safety, it never ends well. Always thaw or marinate foods in the refrigerator at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below, or you could make your friends and family really sick. Maria's neighbor Paul didn't think twice about the steak he ate until he was presenting his company's financial forecast to the board. That's when a sudden bout of food poisoning made it explicitly clear that profits weren't the only thing on the rise. Watch Recipes for Disaster at foodsafety.gov. You'll learn the right steps as Maria does everything wrong. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
Did you know that 80% of KU students don't binge drink?
Hanging posters again? Do you think that poster is really true?
Yes, it is true. I am a KU health ambassador and familiar with the audit. KU students participate in alcohol screening each year. We use the alcohol use disorder identification test. It is a simple way to screen and identify people who are at risk of developing alcohol problems. We have learned that the majority of students are taking care of business and focusing on academics.
You know, most of my friends don't drink, so I guess what this poster is saying is true.
Would you like to get a group of friends together for a bite to eat?
Sounds great. Text me later.
Kutztown Living, neighbor to neighbor.
Funded by the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University. KUR Kutztown. Hey everyone, welcome back to KU Live. The time right now is about 2:42 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Steve Magiri. It's a very nice afternoon out, and a perfect afternoon for what's going on right now. We have our students are marching down to Maxatawny Township building to basically protest against the voter suppression that has been implied about from what the municipality has done to this town, where they have said, basically we're going to move our voting polls from the opaque field house in Kutztown University down to the Maxatawny Township building, which is much further away and making a lot of students have to drive. And that's something that a lot of students can't do because not all students here have cars. It's just a fact. And that just makes it more difficult for people to vote. And that was and we're certainly going to speak to our correspondent there in a bit. But also, just to give an update, we had one of our favorite guests, as always. We always love having him on the show, head men's basketball coach Bernie Driscoll. He came on to give a really good preview on the 2014-2015 campaign for the men's basketball team, because they and that's another thing I wouldn't really want to say about Coach Driscoll. He is just such a really nice man that really cares a lot about not just the athletics, but the academic part of this. He says he uses basketball, as he says, an avenue to get young men who may not get this opportunity in other places. And he says, I'm giving you, with this, you can get a college education through basketball. And that's just a great thing, and it shows that his priorities are in line. But enough about that. We'll appreciate him coming on. Now we're going to go to our correspondent. I believe we're trying to speak with Student Body President Joe Scaborio. Joe, you there?
Hey, well, yep.
Hey, Joe. Is this Joe or Kevin?
This is Kevin.
Oh, hi, Kevin. Yeah, sorry. How's it going down there? Any update? What's been it like out there so far?
Yeah, actually, we're walking down Main Street now. We're coming up on the past Mark's Sandwich Shop, so on us, absolutely. Members of faculty joining us today. We've got Dr. O'Boyle.
Professor O'Boyle. I have his class. Professor O'Boyle's there.
Well, he is walking, kind enough to join on the front lines here. You have Dr. Quinn, physics professor, also the president of the Teachers Faculty Union, and one other.
Well, either way, yeah, that sounds like we have a lot of good representatives there.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll go in a second here.
So what's it been like in town? Are you drawing a lot of attention? Are you, holding up signs? Are you chanting anything, or are you just walking to promote the message silently?
Hi, KUR, this is Joe.
Oh, he was just giving me Joe. Joe, how are you?
Good, is this Steven?
Yes, Joe. How's it going out there?
Good. We're walking. We're just crossing Constitution right now.
Excellent. Okay, this is our student body president, Joe Scaboria. He's our other correspondent from the March on Maxitoni, we're going to call that. So how's it been, Joe? What's it been like out there? A lot of people?
Well, first of all, I like that. Max on Maxitoni, the March on Maxitoni.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah, we have representatives, student government. We have faculty, staff, administrators. We have Dr. Paul Quinn, the president of the Kutztown APSCUP Union. We also have Dr. Mash, the president of the Pennsylvania APSCUP Union. We just had 69 News here. We got coverage from NBC 10 News.
NBC 10 so they're covering your march on the building.
Yes, NBC was on the phone with us last night. They told me they're gonna meet us there later on. We have faculty who are driving alongside of us right now on Main Street.
That's great, and that shows that if you're getting bigger news outlets from stations that are further away, like NBC 10, that shows that this is a really big deal, and the news is expanding beyond the scope of just the Lehigh Valley.
Yes.
That's great. So what are you doing? What's been your role in all this? Are you starting any chants, holding up signs, or are you going to keep it, very, very peaceful?
I'm actually holding a 10-song sign that we're going to deal later on in March. We have two signs right now. The one shows Maxitoni Township and its 3 voting precincts split up like puzzle pieces, and it says Maxitoni Township, township broken by politics. We also have another sign that we have holding up that just says, bring our poll back. With our is capitalized. It's our poll. The county commissioners moved it, and we want it back on campus here where it belongs.
Right, and that's something that I hope they'll realize from this, because I have to keep hitting this nail on the head. The nail's already way in the ground, but I have to just keep hammering it deeper, because the fact that they are taking this away from pretty much a hot spot in this area of young voters that are 18 to 22, taking it out of a town that has more people into a town that has less people, that just makes no sense. And to me, it seems like that since this is a predominantly Republican area, it sounds like it's voter suppression. I've said that word a bunch of times, and I'm pretty sure it fits right into the parameters of it. And what you're doing, Joe, is I think we really appreciate it. I would be there with you, but I have a radio show I have to keep hosting, but we appreciate you being our correspondent. And then, believe me, that's increasing the distance of our message, and now everyone else knows what's going on. And so how long do you think this will take? I mean, I don't think you mind, but
I think we have at least another hour and a half ahead of us. By the end of this, it'll really test how good shape I'm in, Stephen. But we also hope that it convinces one of the 2 commissioners to change their vote and reconsider bringing the poll back to campus.
Right. So you don't plan on trying to speak to them at all? You just plan on, delivering this message through the news?
Well, Commissioner Leinbach was interviewed earlier today. I just received news from 69 News that his comments were related to the elections of a low student turnout, and I have to disagree. 2012 was one of the biggest turnouts in history for young people, and
especially in this area.
This election, 2014, although it's a midterm and a state election, this is all to do with the governor and the congressmen who are making decisions that affect college students' financial futures.
Right.
And we're getting hit hard by budget cuts in higher ed, and I think a lot of students really wish that they could have got out and voted today, and fortunately were unable to.
Right. I know that Professor O'Boyle is with you right now, and I take his white-collar crime class, and he said that basically if you want to change it by saying, I'll just sit back and let everyone else do it, that's a recipe for disaster. You can't do that. You have to go out and vote. Every vote counts. They count. I don't care what they say about any electoral colleges or anything like that. Every vote counts. And this is one that you should really voice your opinion on, how it's going to affect you as a student, because
I agree, Stephen. Voting is our most precious freedom. People have fought and died for this. If you look back, there are 6 amendments in the Constitution that have to deal with voting, and there's still 0 voting polls on our campus. So, we're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep making our voices heard, and hopefully we get a good outcome after today.
by all means, would you be willing to come in on the show another week or so to give like a full recap of the event?
I would love to.
We would love to have you on. All right, well, thank you very much, Joe. That's our student body president, Joe Scaboria, leading a large contingent of KU students and faculty on the March on Maxitani to deliver the message that we want our voting station pulled back into the opaque field house. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Steven.
All right, we'll be right back with more KU Live right after this.
The moment she sees you, she gets excited. She can hardly control herself. She runs to you and jumps into your lap. You stroke her back. She licks all over your face. You rub her stomach. She pants heavily. Then she jumps down and runs off. She turns and tilts her head. She barks. She returns and lays at your feet. She whimpers. Then she darts off again. She probably wants you to chase her. She doesn't know you can't play like you used to. Because she doesn't know you're paralyzed. See, you didn't think you needed a seatbelt just to drive up the road. Then that truck ran that stop sign and bam, you got thrown from the car. If you had only known that most car crashes occur close to home, you would have been wearing your seatbelt. And you wouldn't be stuck in that wheelchair. And this story wouldn't have gotten all twisted. And you'd be rolling around on the floor by now. So buckle up, because you never know.
A message from the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Would you like to hear positive and uplifting stories? The People Chronicles is a website that shares inspiring stories from Berks County and beyond. You can find a story that speaks to you or share a story of your own. Check out the People Chronicles online at thepeoplechronicles.com.
And hear those inspiring stories every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. here on KUR.
As a young teenage boy, I didn't even know what autism was. How do you even spell that? A few years later, I heard that a friend's cousin's son had been diagnosed with autism.
I still wasn't sure what that really meant.
When I went to college, my roommate's brother had autism. When I moved to the city for work, my best friend called me and told me his son had been diagnosed with autism. We were both in shock. I still remember the day I walked into the house and saw that look on my wife's face. I knew something was wrong. I'll never forget how I felt when she said, "Our son has autism."
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR Kutztown. Hey everyone, welcome back to KU Live. The time right now is about 2:52 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Steve Majeri. We had a very, very packed show today. We had Mr. Mike Wagman of the Brandywine Minstrels, a group that volunteers to raise money for the Brandywine Heights School District, where they go and have a musical and acting show that they produce every year. That's going on this weekend, and he came in to talk about it. If you missed our interview with him, you could also listen to us on our podcast that will be published after, that will be broadcast shortly after by my excellent producer. But first, we also wanted to make this show about voting. Well, right now, today's election day, and we have what I call the March on Maxitani, where a large contingent of students, faculty, and staff are marching down to the Maxitani Township building to try and convince the people down there to move the voting polls back to the opaque field house in Kutztown, because I'll say it again, those two magic words, voter suppression. There are six, like Joe said, there are six constitutional laws that are surround voting and involve voting, and for them to only take away a right to vote, that just ruins the whole landscape as a whole. And it's something that they're delivering that message in a very exaggerated fashion. They're all marching on foot to the Maxitani Township building to show how difficult and how inconvenient it is to travel there, because a majority of students here don't have cars. I'm very fortunate I have a car, but not everyone here has one, and we have a lot of voters. To my knowledge, pretty much all of our students are 18 to 22, and of course that all depends on how many have registered to vote, but I'm sure we have plenty. And based off of our 2012 election, we have a lot of students that have voted. And this is also an election that is going to have a lot of implications financially on our education, our funding of our education through this. After the $1 billion cut on education by Governor Corbett, it's time for us college students, to probably have the biggest say in this. You know, we take up we make up a majority of the population in this state and in this country. A lot of people are around our age group, and that's a fact, and we need to just realize that this is our future, and if we don't vote to make a change about it, then nothing will happen. You can't. My sociology professor, who's marching with them right now, Professor O'Boyle, is there, and he's talking. He always said, you can't just sit down and let someone else do it. You need to go out and take action yourself, especially as a student, and that's something we really want to preach on. And I'll also, just real quickly, if anyone wants to chip in on this, you have a comment or thought, or if you're walking there, please call in at 610-683-4859. That's 610-683-4859. Love to hear your thoughts about that. And also on the show, just not to change the subject, we did have one of our favorite guests, as always, head men's basketball coach Bernie Driscoll. Very nice man, very passionate about what he does. He came on to talk about just a preview on the upcoming season, and he also really talked about, and I really like this, is how he talked about how he really emphasized on how it's about education instead of just basketball or sports, because he says he recruits a lot of times in the Philadelphia area, and he says a lot of schools in there don't even have college counselors. I mean, these kids have no gateway, no outlet, no way to get out, and he uses basketball as a way to help them out. And he really preaches that it's about education. You're here to get that, and this school's giving you an opportunity that not a lot of other schools, if any other schools, would give you. That's just why I really love what he does, and he really emphasizes what it means to be a student athlete, not at just this school, but in the NCAA as a whole. But to end the show off, we've had our correspondents come in. We've spoken with Kevin Stratton, has been our correspondent on what's going on in the March on Maxitonia. We also spoke with our student body president, Joe Scaboria. And I believe now Kevin is back on the phone. Kevin, are you there?
Hey, yeah, it's still me.
Good. Oh, good. You're still there. All right. So how's it look? Has anyone else joined you? Has everyone kind of, gotten together? Where are you right now?
Yeah, we still got a group. We just passed Voice Plus. We're right about to get on 222 now. We've got 69 News following us in the car, and we got the camera guy running along with us trying to get good shots.
Wow, how about that? And you have faculty members as well.
What's that?
And you have faculty members as well. I remember they're driving with you as well, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it shows that I've also heard that NBC 10 is going to be doing some coverage of this, which means that you're going to have a larger news station that's kind of out of the Lehigh Valley covering it, which is really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. So what have the students been like? What have the students been saying anything? Are they silent? Do they have signs? What's been going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of signs. It's not as much focused on the candidates, more of just getting the decision reversed, reconsidering the vote to have the voting polling place moved back to the university. But, a lot of buzz about Wolf, obviously, with his higher education policies. He would be the most popular choice of the college crowd.
Yeah, I agree. And as we all know, there's a lot of huge implications on us that hangs in the balance on whoever wins this election, because of how us college students, it's going to affect our financial futures here. What have students been? How many students do you have? Do you think, if you could guess?
Well, there's a lot of it's a pretty diverse group here, but maybe about in the teens as far as students go.
In the teens, so you have around maybe close to 20. And
yeah.
How many faculty do you think are following you?
Just as many, actually. I would say maybe, not just as many, maybe about so, I see.
Yeah, I would assume a good number of faculty would probably want this as well, because some faculty live in Kutztown, so that's great.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me, what else have you passed through Kutztown? Have you gotten any responses or from the people that live in town, or other students, or people just walking by and letting you do
not much, a lot of staring eyes and rubbernecking, but we try and tell the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, for all you know, you could develop more people to follow you.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Right. That's great. All right, well, we thank you very much for your correspondence. We'll certainly want to hear a recap of this next week. We're going to try and schedule with our producer. My producer, we're going to try and get Joe Scaboria in next week. But that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in for another great show of KU Live. I will see you guys next week. It's the top of the hour, and you're listening to the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR Kutztown. We can be heard on campus at 6.